In this video, I want to share with you guys why you should stop putting your money in the bank. Many of you have followed my journey for a while and how I started my blog. So I kind of came from nothing and then my blog just took off. So I've been making a nice amount of money now and I make six figures every single year on autopilot. So now that my blog is just kind of doing its own thing, I'm expanding in different areas now and my circle is changing. I'm hanging around people who have money now. And the things that they're doing with money is like things that I didn't even know was possible. Like, you don't put your money in the bank, then what do you do with your money? These are the questions that I had and I asked and then I found out, and now I'm doing the same thing. I don't want you guys to be left behind doing the same traditional things that we have been taught that is not for our benefit. So I want you guys to share this video, like this video, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications so you guys are not missing out on my content because my circle has changed and so has my income. And I want to share all this stuff with you guys because no one ever shared this stuff with me. And I'm going to be sharing with all of you guys because we need to know this stuff. We need to do things differently. So I have Marvin Mitchell with me today who's going to show us why we should stop putting our money in the bank and what we should do with it. You guys ready? Let's go. Hey guys, I am so excited about today's video and we have Marvin Mitchell with us today. Marvin, thank you so much for being with us today.
I'm so excited, Whitney. I love your YouTube channel, so I'm so happy to be able to contribute to it today. This is going down in history.
Yes, this is going to be a huge one because it's going to go against what everyone has been taught all of their lives. Now, before we get into it, though, I do want them to know a little bit about yourself. And then can you tell us how you even became a financial advisor, at first?
Sure. Yeah, I'm excited about that because what I'm about to teach you today is really something that's untraditional. I'm going to teach you how to make money 5 times off the same dollar and how to leverage your money and how to become the bank and how to, build generational wealth an untraditional way. So it's going to be pretty cool. But I didn't start off, really going into the financial industry. I'm actually the first person in my family to graduate from college. Once I graduated college, I attended law school. In law school, my grandmother became sick with cancer, so I moved back to my hometown of St. Louis, Missouri, and unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, but she made me her durable power of attorney, and her financial advisor told her traditional advice: don't worry about the market, you're in it for the long haul. My grandmother said, well, I want to be safe. And what happened is she lost 50% of her money when the market crashed. She had no long-term care insurance. She ended up running out of money, passing away, really on Medicaid. And this is somebody who worked for the same company for 30 years, saved the traditional way in a 401k. And it's like, this is when I knew something was wrong and I needed to do something about it. So I began to study finances. I began to read. I began to do a lot of different things. And I decided not to go back to law school. And I started my career as a financial advisor in a big Wall Street brokerage firm. And I'm thinking that, as a financial advisor, I'm happy, I'm about to change some lives. And I realized that the system of the big financial brokerage firms was just like the educational system. They were training up people to be just like everybody else. But the problem is that everybody else is running out of money. Statistically speaking, 76% of people run out of money before they die. And these are not just poor people. These are people who actually middle-class Americans or people who had businesses that are running out of money due to bad financial advice. So when I realized that these big companies were more lined with lining up their own pocketbooks instead of the client, I realized that I could not learn directly from this industry. So I began to study millionaires and even a few billionaires. And I wanted to know what were they actually doing. And they almost laughed. As a trained financial advisor, they laughed at what I did because they said that is not how people accumulate wealth. Yeah, if you want to work for somebody else for 40 years and live like a miser when you retire and hope that your money don't run out in survival mode before you die, sure, I guess that's a great strategy. If you want to be controlled by the government and you want the government to tax you on all of your money and they control the tax rate, so you have no control. If you want your money locked up and in prison until you're 59 and a half, I guess that's great advice. But if you're looking to really generate cash flow and build financial freedom, this is what you do. And they taught me some strategy, and I've just been going around the world since teaching those strategies. I own a financial firm. I've been owning my own financial firm for the past 12 years. And in 2021, just last year, I was actually voted into the Financial Advisor Hall of Fame, which I was the youngest and also I think the second African-American ever to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. And it was pretty excited because it showed me that people want this information. They're tired of the old way and they want the new way.
Awesome, awesome. And congratulations. That is so awesome.
Thank you.
Okay, so now the name of this video is Stop Putting Your Money in the Bank. And that is not just for clickbait. And I'm doing the same thing. I'm practicing the same thing that you're teaching. So why should people stop putting their money in the bank?
Well, the thing about it is, use the bank. Don't let the bank use you. And the issue is the banks are going to keep your money. They're going to pay you a very low interest rate. And then they're going to take that money and then they're going to do mortgages and invest your money out. And they're going to make 10 times, 20 times as much money as you. So they're using your money is the bank assets. If they don't invest your money, that money is a liability. So if you're going to use the bank, use it the smart way. But I tell people how to actually become their own bank and build their own bank. And the way that you build your own bank is through what a strategy that we're going to talk about today that's going to build tax-free wealth, that's going to give you more interest in the bank, that's going to grow tax deferred, that's going to allow you the ability to pull it out tax-free, it's going to have liquidity, use, and control, and you can leverage those dollars.
All right, let's get into it now. So how can someone do that?
There is a secret that the ultra wealthy use, and really it's not just for the ultra wealthy, it's for everybody almost. Like really, if you're middle class, even making over $40,000 a year, if you're an entrepreneur making six figures, multiple six figures, if you're a millionaire, you can use this strategy in some way. So the problem is that we've been using life insurance the wrong way, Whitney. The reality of it is we use life insurance for the death benefit only. But see, it's not called death insurance, it's called life insurance. And it's called life insurance for a reason because people have been using life insurance for centuries to actually invest. Before 401ks came about, before any of these things came about, people were storing their money in life insurance. And it's one of those things that has gotten away from most people because the government has promoted 401k plans because they want your money to grow tax deferred and they want to tax your money more. But life insurance will never get taxed again. You can borrow against that money. So when you structure this life insurance policy, you want to overfund the policy. And it needs to be permanent, not term. Term insurance does not have these benefits. Term means temporary. It actually expires after a certain amount of time. But permanent life insurance, when properly structured, you structure it for the lowest amount of death benefit and the highest amount of cash value. Therefore, most of your money will go into the cash value. Once that money grows into the cash value, it's going to keep growing tax deferred as if you never touched it. You're going to have liquidity to borrow from that money, sometimes in as little as 30 days. And now that's when you can learn how to build cash flow and multiply your money 3 to 5 times off the same dollar. Can I go ahead and tell people how to multiply their money 3 to 5 times?
Oh, go ahead. You
sure? Yes. They're ready for it? Because this is going to be, all right, y'all, 3 to 5 times off the same dollar. Let's talk about it. First off, I got to give you a little pre-frame. If I have $100,000, Whitney, and let's just say I'm earning 5% interest. If I have 100,000 that's earning 5%, 1 year later, I got 105,000.
Mm-hmm.
If I put that money into a life insurance and I have 100,000 that grows 5%, 1 year later, I have 105,000. Here's the magic trick though. If I have $100,000 and I borrow $30,000 from my policy, how much money do I have in a policy 1 year later if it's earning 5%? The answer is still 105,000 because I didn't spend the $30,000. I just borrowed against the $30,000. So if I borrowed against it, I didn't touch the asset. So the asset continues to grow as if I never touched it. So if I know that, if my money can still grow as if I never touched it, why wouldn't I use it to borrow against it to buy assets? So now, this is how you make money 2 times off the same dollar. Imagine if I borrow from that and I go out and I buy me, oh, by the way, this is important. You don't even have to pay it back. Now, I want you to pay it back because if you pay it back, it's going to increase your borrowing capacity your ability to borrow more in the future. But if you don't pay it back, it's simply subtracted from the death benefit when you die. So if I have $100,000 cash value and a $500,000 death benefit, when I die, that $30,000 plus interest is subtracted from that $500,000 death benefit. So knowing that, it gives me the ability to know I should be borrowing from that policy. So I borrow from the policy. I go out and I buy a real estate investment that's generating me cash flow. So now I made money 2 times off the same dollar because that insurance cash value is still growing as if I never touched it. Now I'm making income from the real estate. 3 times off the same dollar. Let's just say I get really smart with credit. I know I have the capacity to have credit, business credit, to actually spend money. So I go out and I buy me an asset, let's say the real estate, and I use my credit, turn that to cash, then I buy the real estate, but I pay it off, pay the credit off right away with my cash value by borrowing against it. Now I'm making the money off the cash value as if I never touched it. I got all of the points with a paid off credit card, and
so
I
you're saying
still
you use
have
a
the
credit
asset.
card. Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Credit card. Now I've made money 3 times off the same dollar. Can I go deeper?
You can go deeper.
4 times off the same dollar. I got the credit card, got the asset, paid the credit card off with my insurance policy, got the asset still. Now the asset, let's say if it's real estate, has grown in liquidity, and I do a HELOC, I borrow from that and I go out and do a down payment for another policy. Now I got 2 policies that's generating me cash flow. I got the points from the credit card, and I got the insurance policy that's still growing as if I never touched it, that technically I don't have to pay it back, because if I don't pay it back, it's subtracted from my death benefit. So the 5th way is to get smart about taxes, right? I can go out and I can actually get me a trust set up. I can set me up a dynasty trust. And if I set up a trust the right way, especially for tax provisions, I can minimize my taxation, I can protect my assets, and have all of those other strategies that I just mentioned to you. So that's 5 times off the same dollar, minimizing my taxes, where most people, their money is gone off after the first generation. So there's 3 different types of people when it comes to money. You have a debtor, you have a saver, and then you have a wealth creator. The debtor goes into debt, and then they spend their life attempting to get out of the rat race. They're debtors. Their only goal is to get debt free. They say, if I can only get debt free, I will be financially free. But in reality, if you become debt free that way, you're only at 0. There are homeless people on the street that are at 0, but that doesn't mean they're debt free, Whitney. The second type of person is a saver. So they're going to save, and then they're going to pay cash. They're going to save, and then they're going to pay cash. While they're not in debt, and that actually sounds better, the problem is that every time they pay cash, they lose the forward momentum of their money, and they lose what's called opportunity cost. Opportunity cost is the money that they could have earned had they not spent that cash. So if I have 100,000 and I spend 30, I only have 70,000. Now I'm only earning interest on 70,000. I won't earn interest on 100,000 again until I build my account back up to over 100,000. So I missed the interest on that $30,000 for full time. The wealth creator is what I teach people. How can you save the money just like the saver and grow it, but you never stop the forward momentum of money? So when you borrow against that, not only can you borrow against it to buy assets, but that curve never goes backwards. It only goes forward because you use collateral, you didn't use your cash.
Now, how have you personally used this?
Oh my God, that is so fun. Thank you. That was a great question, because so many people never want to know, are you actually doing what you say you teach? So I've used this in so many ways. One way that I've used it is, of course, I own 422 units of real estate. So I borrow from my policy to partner with some individuals and use my money for the down payment for the 422 units, part of the properties. And I earn a cash flow of about $20,000 a month doing that. And it all started with my policy. So it didn't come from out of pocket. I didn't have to go to the bank in order to get my down payment. Now, we did use the bank for the rest of the money, but that's a whole nother story. Also, I have a Lamborghini. Now, when I first bought the Lamborghini, I paid, it was only a $20,000 down payment because I had car credit. I got that from my cash value policy, and I said, I'm going to rent this out. The Lamborghini rented out, when I first got it, it rented out for about $1,300 a day. And it was only $4,000 a month for the note. So you can see I've used my policy, and keep in mind, the policy kept growing as if I never touched it. Another way that I've used my policy is I have a $2 million house in Atlanta. I don't even live in Atlanta, but I got a no-doc loan, $100,000. I borrowed that from my policy. And every time I borrow, when I get my profits, I pay it back so I can keep increasing my borrowing capacity. and I rent that out. That rents out as well for about $2,300 to $2,500 per day. So that makes on average $15,000 to $20,000 a month. My payment for the house is about $7,000 to $8,000 a month. So that earns a cash flow, and it's only 10 days out of the month that I would rent it out. So I get to stay in it the rest of the time when I go to Atlanta. So that's another way. My policy still continues to grow as if I never touched it. And one of my favorite plays that I did a play with options where I actually borrowed from my policy. And this is when GameStop was going crazy. GameStop was going way, way up. And this is a little bit of knowledge for me from being a financial advisor. I knew that they weren't going to be able to maintain that. So I borrowed money from my policy, $100,000, put into a brokerage account, did the option play with that for one day that it would go down by 100 points, which was risky. So don't try this at home. But it actually did, and I made over $300,000 in a day. Of course, I had to pay taxes on that money, but I made $300,000 in a day on that. So there's so many ways to utilize this. I've just scratched the surface, but understand it gets fun when you truly learn how to make this work for you.
Right. And if you would have lost that money, it would have just been subtracted from the death benefit. And
Yes, I can take that calculated risk, because if I would have lost it, it would have been horrible. But at the same time, it would have just been subtracted from my death benefit when I died. So I would have had time to kind of recover from it. So that's the only reason I would not have taken that risk if it was with cash.
Right, exactly. Oh, I love this. This is so good. Okay, my mind is blown. Like, I don't even know. How can we learn more from you, Marvin? Like, because I need like step by step. How do I do all this stuff?
Look, I had really 15 to 20 minutes, you all, to give y'all some gems. Hopefully y'all got at least your mind expanded that the traditional system is failing individuals. 76% of people are running out of money. Social Security isn't promised to you anymore. Pensions are already going away. So if you don't do something different, you might even be worse than the previous generation. So if you want to learn more, I'm gonna give you two ways. First, you can join our next 5-day virtual challenge, which is held via Zoom. And on that challenge, we got VIP and we also got general. VIP, you get to ask questions to me, Emma and Storm and Ash, who are also multimillionaires, not face to face, but via Zoom, where we can see you, you can see us, kind of like now, right? Mm-hmm. And we're going to answer all of your questions, and we're going to teach you 5 lessons that's going to lead you to financial freedom. And I know you're going to post that link. I don't know if you have the website.
Just so you guys know, trytotruemomjobs.com/P2P. And I'm going to put it in the description below so you guys can sign up for the challenge. This is awesome. But go ahead. What's the other way?
And the second way, we'll allow you to have a complimentary for your listeners and your viewers strategy call with my team, because we actually write these policies. We help people to become financially free so that you don't have to figure it out, because 90% of agents don't do it the right way. And if you do it the wrong way, you're going to pay 70% more commission. So you want to avoid that. So if you want to get with my team, just visit wealthcreationcall.com. There's wealthcreationcall.com, WEALTH creationcall.com, and we got you covered.
Awesome. Now, did you say the date for the challenge? I don't know.
Yeah, so the good news is we do this systematically. So this is going to be evergreen. I'm pretty sure this is going to live for a long time. Mm-hmm. But we do it typically every couple of months. I know the next one we got is in January, and then we're probably going to do one in March. So when you go to the website, it will have the dates on the challenge.
But before you guys leave, I do have to clarify. Now, when I say stop putting your money in the bank, what I'm trying to say is stop putting all your money in the bank. Have just enough money to put in the bank so it can cover your bills, but everything else should go towards your life insurance. If you're gonna go this route, this is the ways of the wealth. This is how they do their money, and that's how they can borrow against all this money tax-free. And they don't have to pay it back if they don't want to, because it just goes off of the death benefit if they don't. But you still do it because you want to increase your borrowing capacity. That's what I'm doing, and that's how I'm able to get into real estate and do these different things and not use my own money. So I hope this all makes sense. Definitely check out his challenge just to have a step-by-step and be able to ask different questions like this and to see if this is all right for you. All right? Thanks, guys, for watching, and have a great day. And I hope if you enjoyed this video, if you made it to this and you're still watching this, make sure you put "I made it" in the comment section so I know that you guys actually stuck around until the end of the video. All right? Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe, share this video. This has to get around because we need to know the ways of the wealth. I want you guys to be doing the same thing. All right? All right. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.